Representative Adam Schiff just asked Todd Blanche a simple question. What happened to you? He said Blanche was a respected prosecutor in the Southern District of New York. He said Blanche signed an agreement that absolves the president of tax liability. He said the court found it was a sham, a collusive relationship. He asked if the agreement protects Trump from liability for billions in crypto money.
Let me ask you this. Does this tax agreement, this addendum you signed, also hold him harmless from any audit or tax liability with respect to the billions in crypto money he made in his first year as president?
Blanche said it is not forward-looking. Schiff said a tax return filed this year for last year's money is not covered. He asked who wrote the language. Blanche said he didn't know. Schiff asked who rejected the IRS's defenses. Blanche said there was discussion. Schiff said Blanche made the decision to not defend the IRS.
But you made the decision.
What's the decision? What do you mean?
You made the decision to not defend the IRS and the Justice Department. You made the decision instead to sign this slush fund agreement.
We made the decision to settle the case, correct?
Yeah.
He said power doesn't corrupt as much as it reveals. He said it has revealed who Blanche is. He said it is a sad story we have seen from Trump appointee after appointee. He yielded. Blanche said he is the same person. He said he does the right thing every day. He said he enforces the laws and puts bad guys in jail. Let's watch.
And I don't think you can deny responsibility here, and that is the IRS settlement agreement. So
yes.
You put your name on this. That absolves the president of tax liabilities in the past. The president was convicted in the case you represented him in of falsifying business records in part for tax purposes. Does this settlement not absolve the president of any liability for tax crimes associated with what he's already been convicted of?
That's not what he was convicted of. It not having to do with
tax purposes. I'm happy to read the statement of facts. The participants took steps that mischaracterized for tax purposes the true nature of the payments made in furtherance of this scheme. So you know,
the
Mr.
participant
Blanche,
there was not the president. It was somebody else.
Well, if the president is conspiring with others to falsify business records to help them cheat on taxes, he is also exposed to liability. You know that as well as I do.
He can't be audited for that.
And of course he can be. Of course he can be. And he can be prosecuted for it. But the agreement you signed on behalf of your former client, on behalf of your current client, in a staggering example of self-dealing prohibits that. Let me ask you this. Does this tax agreement, this addendum you signed, also hold him harmless from any audit or tax liability with respect to the billions in crypto money he made in his first year as president?
It's not forward-looking. So to the extent there are taxes filed by the president or his sons or the Trump organization after the date of that agreement, there's no protection.
Well, but before that agreement. So any taxes...
He hasn't filed taxes yet for money he made last year, right? So
yes.
No.
So if he
no protection.
If he filed tax returns this year for money he earned last year, that his sons earned, that his World Liberty Financial, all those people earned and defrauded taxpayers on it, he faces no liability under this agreement you signed.
There's no evidence taxpayers were defrauded, and he is
but
not
protected. There's evidence in this agreement that you've absolved him of any liability over.
No, I just said he's not absolved. So the question
So this agreement doesn't apply to a tax return filed last year or filed this year?
To tax returns filed after the date of the agreement? No,
No, before the agreement. A tax return filed in this calendar year before this agreement.
Before the agreement, it applies, not after.
Okay, so for a tax return filed this year for last year, for the billions he made, there's no tax liability even if he cheats on his taxes or his kids do or his business do. He is absolved of that further potential liability.
No.
Well, it's in the plain language of your agreement. Did you write this language,
You have to use the facts, though, that he hasn't filed taxes yet. So when he files taxes, there's no protection based upon this agreement.
Did you write this language?
Did I type it up myself?
Did you write this language?
No.
Well, you put your name to it.
I did.
So who wrote this?
I don't know the person that actually typed it. I don't know who it is.
Was it one of the president's lawyers, or was it someone from the Justice Department or IRS?
This document would have been somebody within the Department of Justice.
But you have no idea who that is?
I don't know the name of the person that typed it up.
And did you debate with them the statute of limitations, which clearly would preclude the president's claim? this $10 billion lawsuit?
We had extensive discussions internally about the underlying litigation.
And did you reject the statute of limitations defense?
I'm not a judge. I don't reject
But
things.
you signed an agreement for the U.S.
There was discussion around the
You signed an
litigation.
agreement for the U.S. basically indicating that the Justice Department's position that the statute of limitations applies doesn't matter.
I did. That's not what I said. I didn't say that anywhere.
Who rejected the 25 defenses the IRS had to this sham lawsuit? Who rejected them? Who said that these defenses we're not going to accept, we're just going to go with the president's agreement in the slush fund, this immunity?
There was a lot of discussion internally.
But you made the decision.
What's the decision? What do you mean?
You made the decision to not defend the IRS and the Justice Department. You made the decision instead to sign this slush fund agreement.
We made the decision to settle the case, correct?
Yeah. And in doing that, you basically decided that you were going to be the lawyer for the president and the lawyer for the IRS and the Justice Department. As the court found in this case, there was no adversarial relationship.
Yes,
the court found it was a sham. It was a collusive relationship. And what I don't understand, Todd Blanche, what happened to the Todd Blanche who was a prosecutor in the Southern District of New York? What happened to the prosecutor people had respect for? What happened to the prosecutor who once respected the rule of law? What happened to the prosecutor who said that there wouldn't be a whiff of political partisanship and then prosecutes the president's enemies over seashells cases, over making a video stating the plain law and Constitution? What happened to the Todd Blanche of the Southern District of New York that could convert him into you, someone willing to say the president has both the right and the duty to prosecute his political enemies? I cannot imagine the Todd Blanche of the old days would have ever done that. What happened to you, Todd Blanche? I'll tell you this. I think Robert Caro had it right when he said that power doesn't corrupt as much as it reveals. I suspect it has just revealed who you are. And who you are is someone willing to sacrifice everything you once believed in for that title, for that position of Attorney General. And it is a sad story that we have seen from Trump appointee after appointee after appointee. We have seen people compromise themselves little by little and then a lot by a lot until they're sitting before this committee and trying to justify the unjustifiable. I yield back.
Okay.
May I just briefly respond, Chairman?
Yes, you may.
Very briefly. So you asked me what happened to Todd Blanche. I am still here. I am the same exact person I was when I was a federal prosecutor in the SDNY, which is do the right thing and do everything you can to keep communities safe. So when I was a line prosecutor, when I was a supervisor, when I was the head of a division, my motivation and my goal was the same thing with the people who worked with me and worked for me, which is do the right thing, enforce the laws, and put bad guys in jail. And so you spend time talking about, I did not interrupt you. I did not interrupt you. A little courtesy would be appropriate. So when you ask me what has changed, okay, and you talk about a single document that I signed, okay, and somebody had to sign that document when the president sued, okay, so I tried to do the right thing. What I do every single day, and what the prosecutors in this country do every single day, and the nearly 100,000 indictments and informations that have been filed since January 20th, is exactly what everybody in this building should want the Department of Justice to do, which is to make our communities safer, enforce the laws, both civilly and criminally, and always do the right thing with integrity, which is exactly what I'm doing. So I am the same Todd Blanche I was when I was a federal prosecutor in the SDNY.
Before I call on
Representative Adam Schiff just delivered a masterclass in how to expose the transformation of a once respected prosecutor into a political operative. He did not come with a speech. He came with questions. He came with the text of the agreement. He came with the court's finding that it was a sham, and he left no doubt about the answer. The exchange between Schiff and Blanche was not just a routine confirmation hearing. It was a confrontation about the fundamental question of whether the nominee can be trusted to lead the Department of Justice. It was about whether the Department of Justice will remain an independent institution or become a tool of political retribution. Schiff began by laying out the facts. He said Blanche signed an agreement that absolves the president of tax liabilities. He said the president was convicted of falsifying business records in part for tax purposes. He said the agreement prohibits the president from being audited or prosecuted. He asked if it also holds him harmless for the billions in crypto money he made in his first year. Blanche said, "It is not forward-looking." Schiff said a tax return filed this year for last year's money is not covered. He asked who wrote the language. Blanche said he didn't know. Schiff asked who rejected the IRS's defenses. Blanche said there was discussion. Schiff said Blanche made the decision to not defend the IRS. He said power doesn't corrupt as much as it reveals. He said it has revealed who Blanche is. He said it is a sad story we have seen from Trump appointee after appointee. He yielded. The agreement is the centerpiece of the exchange. It is a stunning document. It absolves the president of tax liability. It prevents the IRS from auditing him. It prevents the DOJ from prosecuting him. It covers his sons and his businesses. It is a get-out-of-jail-free card for the president and his family. Blanche signed it. He put his name on it. He did not defend the IRS. He did not reject the statute of limitations defense. He did not insist on an adversarial relationship. He signed it. He is responsible. The court found that the relationship was not adversarial. The court found it was a sham. It was a collusive relationship. Blanche was the lawyer for the president. He was also the lawyer for the IRS and the Justice Department. He was on both sides of the case. That is not how the law is supposed to work. The law is supposed to be adversarial. The government is supposed to defend its position. The president is supposed to defend his position. The two sides are supposed to be opposed. They are not supposed to be the same person. Blanche was the same person. He signed an agreement that benefited his client. He did not defend the government. He did not do his job. He did not uphold the rule of law. Schiff's argument is devastating. He did not need to prove that Blanche is wrong. He only needed to show that Blanche is not being honest. He showed that Blanche signed an agreement that absolves the president of tax liability. He showed that the court found it was a sham. He showed that Blanche did not defend the IRS. He showed that Blanche did not reject the statute of limitations defense. He showed that Blanche is not the same person he used to be. He showed that Blanche has compromised himself. He showed that Blanche cannot be trusted. The contrast with the old Blanche is stark. The old Blanche was a respected prosecutor. He was a line prosecutor in the Southern District of New York. He was a supervisor. He was the head of a division. He was someone who put bad guys in jail. He was someone who enforced the laws. He was someone who respected the rule of law. He was someone who said there would not be a whiff of political partisanship. That person is gone. That person has been replaced by someone who prosecutes the president's enemies. That person has been replaced by someone who signs agreements that benefit the president. That person has been replaced by someone who is willing to sacrifice everything for the title. Schiff's use of Robert Caro's quote is the most important part of the exchange. He said power doesn't corrupt as much as it reveals. He said it has revealed who Blanche is. That is a powerful statement. It is a statement that Blanche is not a victim of power. He is not someone who was corrupted by power. He is someone who was revealed by power. Power has shown who he really is. It has shown that he is willing to sacrifice everything for the title. It has shown that he is willing to compromise himself for the position. It has shown that he is willing to ignore the rule of law for the president. Kneel. It has shown that he is not the person he once was. It has shown that he is not the person he claims to be. Blanche's defense was weak on every level. He said he is the same person. He said he does the right thing every day. He said he enforces the laws and puts bad guys in jail. He did not explain why he signed an agreement that absolves the president of tax liability. He did not explain why he did not defend the IRS. He did not explain why he did not reject the statute of limitations defense. He did not explain why he did not insist on an adversarial relationship. He said he is the same person. That is not a defense. That is a denial. It is the kind of answer that a nominee gives when he does not want to admit what he has done. It is the kind of answer that a nominee gives when he hopes the committee will move on to the next question. Schiff did not move on. He stayed. He pressed. He read the agreement. He asked the questions. He did not let Blanche off the hook. The larger issue here is not just about Blanche. It is about the politicization of the Department of Justice. It is about whether the DOJ will serve the public or the president. Schiff argued that it should serve the public. He argued that Blanche is making it serve the president. He argued that Blanche is destroying the DOJ from within. He was right. The DOJ is one of the most important institutions in the country. It is responsible for enforcing the law. It is responsible for protecting the American people. It is responsible for upholding the rule of law. Blanche is undermining all of that. He is turning the DOJ into a weapon for the president. He is destroying its reputation. He is leaving the country less safe. Schiff called him out. He did his job. He held him accountable. He made it clear that the American people deserve better. The hearing ended without Blanche offering a meaningful defense. He sat there. He listened. He deflected. He said he is the same person. He said he does the right thing. He said he puts bad guys in jail. He did not answer the questions. He did not explain the agreement. He did not explain the court's finding. He did not explain why he is not the person he used to be. Schiff had done his job. He had held him accountable. He had exposed the contradictions. He had made it clear that the American people deserve better. The question now is whether the committee will act.